Hi guys, I was gonna make a video about I'm going for my kids' Secret Santa at their school to help other kids shop for gifts for people that they have designated. So I'm gonna do hopefully some fun makeup for that. But I also just kind of wanted to talk about just having having ADHD and having other diagnoses, because it seems like that's something that's more and more common, is that we're seeing that people who have one diagnosis of some sort of mental condition, whatever else, will also have more than one. So anyways, I've shared with people in person, but I don't know that I've shared it online necessarily. So here is kind of my story kind of thing, which I don't like to say here's my story because I don't know, I know it's a thing, but I just don't like to say it. So here's me. So I grew up in a culture and a country that was not my own. I looked different than everyone else. Everyone spoke a very different language, and I didn't always feel I rarely felt like I belonged or I connected, or anyone else kind of cared what I thought or anything like that. But it was just kind of it was good. I'm glad I was there. I did make a couple friends. But I also only just made surface friends, because when someone doesn't understand the culture that you live in at home, and if it's different than the culture that you live in at school and all that sort of stuff, it's a little bit harder to connect with people, because you just have a lot of differences. And it's okay to be different. It's good to be different, but you also just want to be aware that that is a thing. Yes, that. What color? That's what I'm looking for. So anyways, all that to say, so I grew up from when I was 4 until I was 10 in a different country. So during that time, the language was very different. There's no base that is similar to English, and the language itself just was it was really difficult to learn, which is, that's okay. But my parents were learning the language. They're not from that country. But my parents were learning the language. We as kids were learning the language. We were learning cultural faux pas. There's all sorts of stuff that you don't necessarily know if it's not a language class you go to. It's not you're taking French in high school. It's everyone knows that you don't talk about this thing culturally, or everyone knows that you're not supposed to stand this close to somebody. You don't shake their hand, you do this instead. So there's all sorts of stuff like that you kind of learn as you go, which means you're the weirdo for a little bit because you don't really understand that stuff. And you guys all remember grade school. Kids can be really, really mean, even if their parents are trying to teach them to do better. Kids can be really mean, especially to other children, especially if you're already the weirdo and you've been picked out as such. So one of the things that I got picked on for was, as a child, I used to pick my nose, and it was my favorite thing to do, which a lot of little kids do that, and that's fine, whatever. It's kind of gross, but whatever. Well, in this specific culture, that was a really, really, really big deal. I remember we were explaining the water cycle. I think it was second grade. And I had an American teacher, but the kids, we used a ruler, and we pointed to different parts of this poster or something. And it was my turn, and so I pointed out and I did the thing. And then there was a kid that raised their hand, and they were excuse me, can I not go after her? She picks her nose and she's disgusting. I don't want to touch that thing after her. That's so gross. In front of the whole class, he did that. And I remember feeling like the biggest loser in the world. And that didn't really go away a whole lot. even when I came back to American schools, because I don't know if you know this, but American culture is different than this other culture too. And it was pretty vastly different. So it was just kind of one of those things where I still struggled to fit in. I still struggled to figure out when to do certain cultural things in the US and also in this other country. Because it was one of those weird, because I came back when I was almost 11 and my family moved back to the United States. And of course my parents grew up here and they were like, all right, we got this. Like, this feels like home. This feels more familiar. But it was just kind of one of those things where it wasn't really familiar to me. I mean, we visited in like every other summer, but I didn't really spend a lot of time growing up here. And like I lived in this other country in the 90s. So like Friends, never watched it. What was it? South Park, I think, was the other one that didn't watch Saturday morning cartoons. Like, that wasn't a thing for me because, you know, it wasn't a thing where we grew up. But it was a country of immense wealth. My parents made decent money, but they didn't make like ridiculous money. I'm talking like having your own personal driver in your house and a gardener, a cook, a maid. We were the poor family because we only had a maid. So that was kind of a thing that was different there. And then when we came back, I was like, we don't have a maid. And my mom's like, no, they don't do that here. So that was one of those things too. All that to say, like, I think if I had known, and I don't fault my parents that they didn't know that I had, like, I guess what's the buzzword now, neurodivergence. I don't fault them for not knowing that I had stuff going on. I think they just thought I was like an angsty kid. And they did their best. I'm not upset with that. I don't think they did anything wrong. But in the 90s, like, people didn't have mental health problems. They were just weirdos or not weirdos. So that was something that, you know, they kind of missed. Sorry, I have to like hold still to do this. Otherwise I get it all weird. There we go. But anyway, so that's just kind of been one of my things that I grew up with that was really like tricky and difficult and frustrating for me. But I also am aware that the world does not owe me any huge favors because I was the weirdo as a kid or because I was misunderstood as a kid. That doesn't mean that, you know, everyone should take care of me and treat me like whatever. No, I do expect the people that I live with, like my husband and my kids, to be kind to me, to be understanding that my brain works a little differently than theirs. But I don't need every single person in the world to know how difficult everything was for me. I don't need everyone in the world to know how unfair as a kid I had it or whatever else. Because that's not really helping me. Because not everyone in the world is going to know, and not everyone in the world is going to be kind. So I have to be okay with that. I'm allowed to have expectations for my family that I live with. But even family that I don't live with, I have to balance fair expectations because that's something that I've had to figure out too. But I made this channel not because I want everyone to sob and cry and feel so bad for me because my life was so hard. Like, everyone has hard stuff in their lives. And I'm not saying that you should minimize what's been hard for you, because it has been hard for you, and it's okay that it's been hard for you, and you deserve to heal from that and to feel better from it. But that doesn't mean don't talk about things that were hard for you. I'm not saying ignore that, because you should absolutely heal and feel better from it and feel awesome. But I just want to caution you that it took me too many years to figure out that I can't expect the whole world to try and take care of me. I have to take care of myself. I have to have my husband to help me. Sorry that I have hair on me. I lost my train of thought. anyhow, so I just want to encourage, like, you as the person watching this. I know that I'm just doing my makeup now, and like in the grand scheme of things, makeup is really not important. It's something fun, to do. But the most important thing is you and your health. And if doing your makeup helps your mental health, helps your overall well-being and to feel better, do it. If putting makeup on is too stressful because you feel like you can't get it right, skip it. You don't need it. You are more important than that. Anyhow, I wanted to share this today because today has been really, 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 really hard for me. Not for any particular reason. I don't take correction very well, and it's frustrating because I feel like I'm an adult and I should be able to figure this out by now, but for whatever reason I have not. So I am still trying to figure out how to accept healthy correction from like my workplace or whatever else, because it's going to continue to happen and I need to figure out how to deal with and cope with it. They were not unkind. No one was unkind. It just was a matter of like, oh, hey, please make sure that you're doing this thing that you're paid to do. And that was really hard to hear. I cried a lot already about it. I feel really stupid about it. I feel really sad about it. But it was just a simple correction. It was just a simple, hey, don't forget to do this thing. Sorry, I say a lot when I get nervous. But it just, again, it was just that. And I want to make sure that I'm being healthy and I'm taking care of myself. But I also want to make sure that I am being not a garbage person who's saying everyone needs to do this for me because, I have ADHD, or because I have anxiety or depression or any other myriad of mental health things. So it's not fair to expect that from every single person that I ever talk to, because they don't know. It's not my job to make them feel bad for treating me a way that they would treat any other person on a normal day. This eyeliner does not want to come off right now. It's like you can barely see it. Anyhow, I just be encouraged that you are not done yet. No one is finished growing as a person until you die. You will never be done growing as a person until you die. And that is a very, very healthy mindset to have. So continue to grow, continue to be awesome. And I'm actually really loving this green here. Sorry, I really like the way that green turned out. The red's a little one-dimensional, but kind of Christmassy, kind of lame, honestly. But yes, so if you are growing, if you're dealing with mental health, anything like that, I just want to encourage you. It does, not that it gets better, but you figure it out a lot faster than you think you will. And then you go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And that's absolutely okay. You don't have to get everything perfect on your first try. It's impossible, so don't worry about it. So don't feel bad that something is taking you longer to figure out or longer to understand or longer to anything, because I know that one of the things with ADHD is that you feel like it takes you, like you should get it perfect the first time. But that's not really probable or likely or possible. So it's okay if it takes you more than one try to get it perfect. And it's okay that, you are working hard at doing something and it's not working out. And that's okay. And that doesn't mean you have to, because I almost quit my job because I was so stressed about this one little thing. And I called my husband and I told him, I said, maybe I should just find a different job. And he just encouraged me. He said, you are really good at your job. Don't try and stop doing it. He said it's okay to not get everything perfect. So I just encourage you to find your people that will tell you, hey, it's okay. You don't have to be 100% perfect at this the first time you do it. You don't have to be, it's not possible to be perfect the first time you do anything. Actually, I don't know, maybe it is. I have no idea. I'm still convinced that maybe it is. But I know I'm going on like 15, 16 minutes here. So I'll get off soon. But I'm just going to finish up really quick then. And I want to tell you guys this because I always tell my daughter this. So she just turned 6. And she loves to watch me put my makeup on. It's one of her favorite things to do. And she actually got her own play makeup kit for her birthday. And I'm setting this on my eyes because I have a liquid kind of liner. And I always struggle with it running because my skin's really, really oily. And then I'm going to do my mascara. But I always tell her, I said, makeup is really fun. Just like dress up. Just like putting on, a pretty dress or putting on some, a fun shirt that you enjoy or fancy shoes, anything like that. But it's not something that you need ever because you are complete and perfect and amazing and wonderful exactly the way that you are. Your body is your body, and you should never feel bad or feel ashamed about it because it's what you have, and that's okay. It doesn't matter if you are big or small, tall, short. It doesn't matter because it's just your appearance, and you were born with that, and that's not something that you necessarily had a hand in. It's something that is just, it's your genetics, it's your body, and you should not feel, see, look at that, I already dripped underneath my eye there. Well, I guess we'll blend that one away. But, yeah, so I just wanted to encourage you, it's okay to be where you are. Grow as you need to, but also feel free to rest as you need to as well. All right, have an awesome day.